Hello, and welcome to Walking and Talking with Mrs. Smith. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Mrs. Smith, and I'm a Christian. And if you've joined me before, thank you so much for coming back. But if you're new to my channel, thank you for clicking on my video, and I really hope you enjoy it. So today I'm in Shaun Woods Country Park. It's just outside the village of Shaun in Kent in the UK, and it's a free park. I think you have to pay for parking, and it's just £3 for the whole day, which isn't too bad. There's 292 acres of woodland and wetland and meadows, and there's really lots to do here, including an eco-friendly visitor centre and cafe. There are trails, picnic and play areas if you have kiddies. You can bring your dogs. I think you have to keep them on a lead, but you can bring your dogs, and they run events and activities. Interestingly, there used to be clay pits here, which were part of the medieval Cobham Hall estate. And the area was used for clay extraction for the local cement industry from the 20s to the 70s. And it's also really accessible. I think there's over 2 miles of easy access routes. So good for wheelchairs and buggies as well. And you can hire mobility vehicles as well if you want to. So this week, I've been thinking about waiting. You know how these days everything seems really instant? We don't really need to wait for anything much here in the UK, except for maybe a doctor's appointment. But I remember years ago when I was a kid, there were no mobile phones, right? So if you wanted to contact someone far away, you had to go and find a payphone in a street somewhere and make sure you had enough change on you for the call, or you had to write them a letter or a card and just post it and then wait ages for a reply back. I must confess, I still write letters and cards to my friends and family sometimes, because I feel like that's making more of an effort for the people that I care about rather than just sending a text. But I also remember that if you wanted to watch a series on TV, you'd watch one episode one week, and then you kind of had to wait a whole week for another episode, and it was rarely repeated. So if you missed it, it really was tough luck. You couldn't just binge watch everything or stream it on catch up like you can today. And if you wanted to buy something, the only option really was to leave your house and visit an actual shop. Or you had to order something in a catalogue and usually wait weeks for it to arrive. Unlike today, when you can just order something online and sometimes have it delivered the same day. Things are certainly different these days. I actually miss Woolworths. here in the UK. The in-person Amazon, only much, much cheaper. And all of that got me thinking about how much we have today here in the UK that is just on tap, like how quickly we're used to having what we want when we want it. Especially if we're a Christian. You know, does being able to have things right away like that without having to wait make us more impatient, maybe? Or does it even make us a bit lazy sometimes? I mean, we don't even have to go out food shopping right now. We can just order everything online and have it delivered. And sometimes even within the hour. And I guess, you know, that's great if you have mobility issues, maybe. You know, I've certainly had to do that in the past. But most of us, we don't. We just like having a little bit of convenience. But it kind of makes me feel a bit sad, though, especially when I think about, you know, other countries where poor people and children sometimes still have to walk miles just to get some water, which is usually quite dirty when they get there. I kind of feel like the world is a very unbalanced place right now. But having everything on tap like this here in the UK and in other countries as well can get us used to being waited on instead of having to wait ourselves. And that could lead us to becoming maybe an impatient people. I think sometimes as well we can be quite good at justifying our impatience by saying things like, we just have high expectations, you know, as if that somehow makes our impatience acceptable. In fact, I feel like maybe patience is no longer seen as a virtue anymore. It's kind of like we're told that if we know what we want, then we should go out and get it and have it now, live for the day. And at the same time, I also feel like maybe impatience is seen as some kind of virtue. Because, well, let's face it, impatience seems to get things done, doesn't it? We seem to have the mentality of, if we moan enough, we'll get what we want. And it works too. Impatience is seen as more proactive, I guess, if you like. So impatience can come across as being a positive thing. Yet the dictionary, though, defines impatience as an eager desire for relief or change, restlessness, intolerance of anything that delays or hinders. And that doesn't really sound like a positive thing to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do believe that there is a place for decisiveness and taking action, absolutely. But I also feel like there's a place for waiting and patience too. So, to try and put being patient into a more positive light, I was trying to think of some ways in which patience is seen as being a good thing. And I did think of a few. We have to wait for the sun to rise each day. Now, I know that may sound a bit daft, but the planet doesn't rush to make it happen because it's fed up with the dark. There's an order to things, right? And the sun rising shows us that there is a new day coming, a new day to look forward to, a new day with new opportunities. And we do look forward to it. We have to wait for wisdom. We're not born with it. It comes with experience. And sometimes experiences and learning the hard way can take a long time. But when we gain wisdom, we benefit greatly, you know. In fact, thinking about it, I've never heard an elderly person saying that they wished they had the wisdom they had when they were younger. But I have heard a lot of them say that they wish they knew back then what they know now. Wisdom is worth waiting for. We have to wait for growth as well. It's inevitable, but again, it takes time. Growth in us, growth in plants and flowers, growth in the economy, and we're more appreciative when it arrives. And I guess the biggest thing that I've found as I've gotten older is that if we wait patiently and are contented to wait patiently, it can often be the secret to us feeling peaceful inside. You know, we stop fretting, we calm down, we chill out, our anxiety lessens. Talking about patience, I don't know if you've seen the movie Evan Almighty. Wow, look how beautiful that is. But in that film, there's a woman speaking with God, and she doesn't know it's God she's talking to, but she's telling God about her husband, who she feels is doing things that she doesn't understand, and it's frustrating for her, and she's becoming impatient. And she doesn't know what to do, and she's moaning to God about it and asking him, what can I do? And God says, let me ask you, if someone prays for patience, do you think God gives them patience? Or does he give them the opportunity to be patient? And that got me thinking that in this instant generation that we live in, we could sometimes miss those opportunities to stop and to listen and to observe, to learn that patience. You know I sometimes miss those opportunities myself. And thinking about it in the Christian Bible, actually in the book of Proverbs, I think it's in chapter 14, it says, whoever is patient has great understanding. And I feel like that's saying that the ability to think before speaking or acting is like a sign of maturity, that being more patient and self-controlled or having a considered thought shows a type of wisdom that maybe those who always rush in first, feet first, might not develop. We live in a massively fast-paced world, don't we? We drive fast cars, we eat fast food, we live in the fast lane, we want everything now or preferably yesterday. And again, I know I'm guilty of that sometimes myself. But as a Christian, do I need to stop and smell the roses a bit more? Do I need to look more closely at those Bible verses and that quote from the movie Evan Almighty? I don't want to find myself in the rush of our instant lives today, missing those opportunities to learn, to grow, or to gain that patience and that wisdom that I feel I need, or we all need, really. Who was it who said that great things come to those who wait? Actually, I can't remember. But if you can remember, can you let me know in the comments? I think I'm going to leave it there today, but I want to thank you so much for walking and talking with me again. And if you've enjoyed my little rambling ramble, please do hit that like button for me. And please subscribe to my channel too, so you can see more content. But in the meantime, this is beautiful and I'm going to stay here for a while. So you take care, God bless, and I'll see you next time.